What's good, family? This Street Talk for Voice of the People News. This week, instead of investigating, we're celebrating. Did you know the second week of April is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week? We dropped into the Kerbis Emergency Communications Building, one of 14 for St. Louis County. We spoke with dispatcher Anne Marie about the importance of her job and why she chose to serve her community. But first, let's hear from Brian, Communications Director for this dispatch center on Telecommunicators Week.
Yeah, so every year the second week of April is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, where we get the opportunity to recognize our employees, 911 dispatchers and call takers. It's something that we take serious here, and we enjoy it every week, or every year. It's something we look forward to. So just an opportunity to recognize them for their dedication and service to the community and the department.
Dispatchers play a crucial role in emergency services, directing first responders to incidents swiftly and accurately. Their quick thinking and clear communication saves lives in high-pressure situations. Moreover, in telecommunications companies, dispatchers manage the flow of information, troubleshooting issues, and coordinating responses to network disruptions. We asked Brian how this center achieves that.
We actually have a software program that we can plug an address into. There is also a technology that we use that will grab the location off of a cell phone, and it will put it on a map for us, and we're able to use the 911 infrastructure in St. Louis County to double check that, if you will. Kind of a redundancy to ensure that we've got the location, but then as a third aspect, we will actually ask the caller where they're at to verify their location. We'll put all three of those together, and that will tell us the police jurisdiction, what fire district and ambulance district would respond, and then we just know if that's an agency we dispatch for or not. If it is, we process the call. If it's not, then we get them over to the agency that does dispatch for that area.
Known to drop. We asked Brian what happens if you get disconnected.
If they call in, they have to be on, the cell phone has to be connected to that system for a period of time before it'll pick up. It's not very much, it's like 1 to 3 seconds. So yeah, I don't want to say yes every time we're going to get it if they hang up, but the overwhelming majority of the time, yes. We will then make a call back to that phone in an attempt to get that person on the line to see if it was accidental or if they had an emergency.
As technology evolves, dispatchers must adapt to new tools and platforms to maintain optimal performance. Telecommunications Week showcased innovative solutions empowering dispatchers, from advanced communication systems to AI-driven analytics for real-time decision-making.
Language barrier for people who might not speak English. How do you guys overcome that?
Yeah, we actually have a contract with an interpreter service, and it's actually growing. So in the future, we hope to be able to use a software program that is talk to text. So regardless of what the language is that they speak, whenever they speak it into the phone, the service will just translate that to English, and it sends it through on the phone, and it will even tell us what language they're speaking. And then when we talk back to them, it converts English into the language being spoken. So the dispatcher knows when they read what the language is, and the caller is never going to know. But right now we use an interpreter, a live interpreter.
Despite technological advancements, the human element remains paramount in dispatching. Dispatchers must possess not only technical proficiency, but also empathy and resilience to navigate challenging situations. Here's Anne Marie speaking about being a dispatcher with the voice of Cam.
I'm a 911 dispatcher. Right now I just work on phones, but we do have the phone side and the radio side. So right now I'm just working on phones, answering 911 and non-emergency calls.
Okay, so with the phone side and the other side, could you go ahead and break that down? What are the difference between both sides?
Yeah, so on this side what I do is, like I said, I answer 911 calls. So if you call 911 and you're in St. Louis County, you'll probably get me or one of the other dispatchers to answer the line. Also, non-emergency calls as well. We have a non-emergency number that people can call in for non-emergency issues.
Okay, so with the non-emergency issues, what are some of those calls like? Just so people watching this can understand.
Yeah, non-emergency calls, it could be, honestly, it could be anything. Sometimes people call non-emergency for parking violations, to have an officer help
Get the cat out of the tree type of ordeal?
Yeah, they'll call for that. Sometimes they call non-emergency for issues that are 911 or they should call 911 for, stuff like that, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into what everybody calls the emergency stuff. Some of the 911 calls you had on the emergency side, how have those been for you? How, when I say how have those been, when you get them, what's your first thought?
When I first get a 911 call?
An emergency call.
Okay. My first thought is, honestly, I just go into what I was trained to do. So I just think of like, okay, even if they're screaming or whatever is going on, I have to get their location. While we have technology where we can kind of ping where they are, we still want them to verify their location because it could be maybe a house or two away. So you always want to get the location. So that's honestly my first thought every time any emergency call comes in. That'll be my first thing I'm thinking of. And then after that, what do you need type thing? You need police, fire, ambulance. And from there, I'm either able to help them get police out or transfer them over to our EMS side so they can get help with an ambulance or fire.
So from the community standpoint, why is it important to pinpoint a location?
It's important. That's the most important thing, and we learned that in our training because we want to know where we're going. We want to know where the emergency is. We don't want to have to guess. Some calls, they just call in screaming, and you can't really get an exact address. But like I said, it's technology out there to where we're able to kind of pinpoint it. It's just best for you to get help as fast as possible, just to at least say the address, so we know where we're sending officers.
Okay, so you've been here how long now?
About 6 to 8 months, yeah.
All right, so what has been, in the 6 to 8 months that you've been here, what has been your most frantic type of call that you had, and how did you handle it?
I would say something like, I've had a couple, but I would say like a flourishing a weapon, like brandishing a weapon at someone. I've had that. A robbery as well. I've had one of those. And like I said, I try to focus on the main part, which is getting the location where they are and just seeing what happened. Honestly, sometimes you have to kind of try to keep people on track, which is kind of hard after something like that happens. So just keeping them answering the questions is the most important thing, and getting any suspect information you can and where they were headed type thing.
Okay, so let me ask a question. If anybody ever had to dial 911, what are some things that you would want them to have in mind before calling 911, if they can think clearly to have those things in mind? Right.
Where they are. Some people don't know where they are, so I would say that. And suspect information, relationship, whatever the relationship is, if they're the victim, make sure you say the relationship to that person. I know some people are hesitant with that for whatever reason. I don't know if they don't want to get them in trouble really, but just want the police to come. But that's a thing that officers want to know, the relationship with whatever your relationship, whether it's girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, whatever it is, or just a friend. I would say that.
What have been some of the rewards you had been here so far on some of the calls you had?
I would say on some calls it kind of feels good if you know the result of it. So I would say that feels rewarding sometimes. Like if you see in the comments that either someone was arrested or something like that, where they were able to help the person, like we were able to help the person that called us, that feels good.
Okay, so I got a question. I know there's a lot of people that just play all day and play too much. Do you guys get prank calls?
We do, but not from adults. I haven't gotten one from an adult. I've gotten like kids calling 911 for sure. I've gotten that for sure.
And what are those calls like that, or that particular call, if you remember correctly?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of those calls, honestly. So they just really go like, they curse you out, or they say that it's a prank call or something like that. But sometimes they keep calling. They normally don't tell you the address, but we try to send someone out anyway just to see if they can find them at wherever they're pinging at. But yeah, usually we just say like, hey, don't play on the phone, don't, call 911 as a prank type thing.
You know what, with the prank calls, it might be fun and games to them, but And then, just give how you feel about that.
Yeah, so as far as kids or anyone calling in 911 and it's not an actual emergency, and it's not an emergency, you're just kind of pranking 911, it does keep other people away from or not being able to get help as fast as possible when we're held up on the line with someone else that doesn't really need help. So that is a thing to keep in mind. You're in the way of other people getting help when they have actual emergencies.
Would you recommend this job to someone else after being here 6 months?
I would. I think St. Louis County has a really good dispatcher training program, and you're going to get all the help you need as far as the training, but also when you get out of training and you're sitting with a seasoned dispatcher, you're getting training there as well. So it's not like you just go through the training and then you're thrown to the wolves. It's like once we get on the phone, we also have a seasoned dispatcher right there helping us as well. So I think they really do set you up for success here, and they do want you to succeed, and they show that.
Okay, so look, if somebody wanted to be a dispatcher, give them 3 reasons why they should apply.
You should apply if you like to help people. This is a job where you're pretty much just helping people literally the whole day. That's your main part of your job. I would say apply if I'm in the military, and I can see some of the similarities in it. So if you like your unit and how your unit runs things, it's kind of the same here. So I would say if you have any type of military experience, you'll probably succeed here as well. And if you're a good soldier, obviously. And lastly, I would say a lot of people that work here have family that's law enforcement. So probably that, if you have any family.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual role that you actually do here. How does being a 911 operator make you feel overall? Because you have an important role. You're like the person that the community talks to when they're in distress, when they need help. So you have an important role. But how does that make you feel being there? Is it just something that you feel like, this is just a job, everyday thing, or do you get like a sense of fulfillment from it?
No, I definitely think it's a sense of fulfillment for sure. Just knowing you're helping the St. Louis County community. I mean, and also I think it also goes into who you work with as well, like work culture. Because if you work somewhere where it's kind of, a bad work environment, then you wouldn't feel as fulfilled in your role. So I would say the work culture here is good, and that helps with it too. That goes along with it.
So if you're thinking about being a dispatcher for St. Louis County, they may be looking for you.
If you want to help people and you find that you are a good person who wants to help the public and help the community where you live, this is a great place for you to be here at St. Louis County Police Department. Our Bureau of Communications is hiring, as well as the rest of our police department. We have a lot of professional staff positions, we have police officer positions that are open, and we would love to have you.
For VOP News, I'm Street Talk.